welcome to Infection. I'm Steve Newman, and today we're going to be talking about how to use a green screen in Final Cut Pro. Welcome back. Hi, so today we're going to look at how to use green screen in Final Cut Pro. So what I've got here is I've got Final Cut Pro open, and I have a clip dragged into a project, and as you can see in the clip, if we look on over here, there's loads of shadows on the clip. Now, most of the YouTube videos I've seen so far that show you how to use green screen do not really show you how to work with a really poor lit green screen. Perhaps it's creased, as you can see mine is here. So what I'm going to show you is how to hopefully recover a clip that has poorly lit room, poor lighting, loads of shadows and loads of creases. So that's what the purpose of this is, and I'll just play this so you can see how bad it is. So there you go, shadows appearing everywhere, really bad. But you can recover this. So what we need to do, first of all, let's turn on the inspector. So if I bring the inspector up, as you can see, there's no effects actually applied here. They would appear here. There's no keyer applied. So the first thing we want to do is get a background to show through. So if I now go to my backgrounds, I'm just going to pick a background. Let's go through this one. We drag it underneath the clip and drag it to the beginning. And because Final Cut Pro works in a layered approach, this is always behind. So what we need to do now is enable the keyer feature, and what that will do, if we now go back in here to effects, go to keying, and then we pick the keyer. There are two versions. We'll drag the keyer over your clip, which I've just done now. Final Cut Pro will do a pretty good job normally of trying to work out how to key. So this hasn't been rendered, but it's enough for you to see. So if I press play, you can see that this is what happens by default. You can see it's pretty bad. There are spaces where the keyer can't work because of the different colours, shadows and creases that you can see. So very bad. So what we're going to do is show you how to fix that. So what I like to do is I'm going to disable my background. So I've selected my background, I'm going to press V. And what this will do is tell Final Cut Pro to show black because it just hasn't got any background to show. And that makes it easier to see where the mistakes are. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is select my main clip, make sure it's highlighted in yellow, and then you can see now in the inspector over here, you can see that we have now a keyer, and if I click the keyer, that's how you disable it. So that's a key effect. Okay, so within the keyer you have a view item here, and you can change the view to say to make it easier to tweak the keyer. So the first view here, which is the one that's highlighted, this is the final view, as in what you will see if when the keyer is enabled. The second button shows you the matte, and this is that shows you what it's going to leave, because it creates a matte. So it's a bit like a cutout of a piece of paper of me, and anything to the green colour is made transparent. That's what it does. And then the last one is the original, so you can see all my shadows and so forth. So what we're going to do is leave it in the middle one, which is so we can see the matte view, and then we're going to tweak the keyer itself. So what you do next is, if you look at the top in the top up here, you have a refine key option. Now the one we're going to use here is this section here, which is the sample color. We're going to tell the Final Cut Pro keyer algorithm, to sample the other colors that are shadows and so forth. So you click on that, so make sure it's highlighted in red, then come over to the area you want it to sample. So what we're going to do is come over, we'll drag it a little bit further. Again, you can use multiple ones of these. Do not go over the edge, so otherwise it's going to sample more than it should. Okay, so now we've actually sampled that. It's turned most of this black. So what I'm going to do now is move a couple of frames forward with the arrow key, the right-hand arrow key on the keyboard. And as you can see, if I just look in at the black, that's all transparent. Now if you look over on the edges here, you should see over here where it will start to blur. And this is again to do with reflections and shadows. If you can see just over here, it's very blotchy and blurry. And if I find the worst place, I think that's about the worst bit. I'm going backwards and forwards on my keyboard at the moment. You can see here that it's very blotchy. Now, that is Final Cut Pro's algorithm. It's attempting to fill in holes. And because of all the shadows, there's a little bit of reflection on my desk here. So it's attempting to fill in holes. And what I want to do is slightly tweak that so that the algorithm doesn't have this sort of, I guess you want to call it bleed, for want of a better word. And you can do that. So what you do is find the worst part, which I've done there, then come back over to the Keyer settings, and you'll see there's a section called Fill Holes. Now if I slightly move that out a bit, you've got to be careful you don't go too far. As I slowly drag it, you'll see it's now rolling back the algorithm and those holes. I can go too far and it will mess up everything. But you have to find a point where you think it looks good on the worst frame, which is what I've done there. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is move a few frames forward. So there's a little bit, and there's another bit. Oops, gone back to the end. Let's just go again. Still a little bit, but that's not too bad. So on the edge there. So that's not too bad at all. So that's looking a lot better. Okay, I can see a little bit there. So basically go through your frames, go through your video and look for the worst. There we go, some there. So what we could do here is we can come over and we could try and pull that out further, which I've just done there. And then we go back through again. I think that looks quite good. Okay, so what we'll do now is we need to now enable the background. So I'll go back down and enable it, select the background and press V. And now I'll go back to my main clip and I'm going to switch it to composite view, which is the final view. And then if we go back to the beginning, just do a quick playthrough to see if it looks okay. Now as you can see, we don't have any shadows at all. So that is very, very good, and the edges look quite refined. So I think that's acceptable. So where that clip was pretty useless, it's now very well done. So okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let Final Cut render this, and we'll just, I have mine on force it to render, so we're just going to force it to render now. Just doing that, that's what this counter is here. So as long as I don't do anything, we should be okay. So we're going to force Final Cut to render. And then over here you can see this brown mark is actually as Final Cut renders. So that's working one. So that's rendering the output. Nearly there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come back to you when it's rendered. Excellent. So Final Cut's just rendered. So what we do now is I'm going to put this in full screen mode just so you can see. And we've planned it now, and there's a very clear edge. As you can see, the Keyer has done a really good job. There's no artifacts anywhere that I can see, or very little. So, and you can tweak this further, but that's an example of how to do keying in Final Cut Pro. That's what we do. I'd like to thank you for watching my video. I'll just stop that. So thank you for watching my channel. Please subscribe and come back and watch some other reviews and info from the tech world. So thanks ever so much. Cheers. Bye.